what was the first item that you sold on Amazon? That can you remember what was the first thing that you said you had made, $1,000 in a week and you were like, whoa, wait a second, this is friggin' awesome. Like what was that first item that you came across that you were like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna send this in and see if I can make money off it. And how did you know you were gonna make money off it?
Honestly, man, dude, Amazon was such a foreign language back then because back then there was no help from no one. There was no YouTube, no courses, nothing. Like I had no clue what I was doing, and I had no clue how to learn it, like how to even do a shipment. Like it was like literally like someone's like, "Here, learn Chinese in 20 minutes." It's
Right.
like, and
It's
I
like
would
how do you
be
do
like,
it? Right.
yeah. So once I started getting all this, so right before I started Amazon, I one day thought like, oh man, I wonder if there's anybody else in the world that resells. So I started Facebooking reseller, Amazon, not Amazon, but eBay, reseller, all that. And that's kind of how I ended up finding about eBay, Amazon. But I didn't know there was a community of people, that other people that were doing this. Like I thought it was just me and my buddy that were reselling. I didn't know anyone else did that ever. And so then I slowly got into a reseller community, on YouTube and stuff. And I found Rake-In and ended up joining the green room. But I joined a bunch of free Facebook groups for eBay and Amazon. And I started Amazon and I would go in the free groups. And I was probably that annoying guy. Like if you see the newer sellers go in the groups that are like, oh, that guy's annoying. That was probably me. Because I remember I would ask questions and I would get just badgered by people sometimes. And people were just like so mean. Not everybody, but some people were mean. I remember that, just bully, just jerk offs to you. And I got to the point where I'm like, please help me. I don't know how to do my first shipment. I'll pay you money. Can we do Zoom or whatever the heck they had going on back then? I'll pay you money. Like coach me. And I would just get like bombarded with like a couple jerks, but that stuck to me. I'm like, you know what? I'm
Now,
gonna
what
learn
group
how.
was this? This was in Steve
I don't
Raken's
even
group?
remember. No, 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 no. This was like, I was in like 3 or 4 free Facebook groups back then. Like
Gotcha.
whoever was
Gotcha.
like, I could find back then. And there was just a handful of people. It was a small percentage of people that were just really, really mean. But I was like, those are the people that I paid attention to. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to do this business, and I'm going to help people, and I'm going to show people. I'm going to put love into this, and like anyone that I can help. And then so that's kind of why, like, I just, like it helped shape my mentality towards life and Amazon and eBay and stuff. But I started to learn how to do it, and I remember like right when I started doing Amazon, I signed up for somebody's like OA list. I didn't even know what it was. I don't even know how I met this guy, but he would, for like $60 a month, he was giving me leads, and I didn't even. $60 was so expensive to me, and I would never do this
Mm.
now. I split the list with a friend, like we both paid 30. I would never do this now. Like if I buy a subscription from somebody, I pay it only I'm logging in. Like I was unethical and just, like I was from doing all the drugs and stuff. Like my mind wasn't morally right. Like I did a lot of immoral things in my opinion. So I was like $30 each, because $30 was an insane amount of money to me back then, especially when I started with Amazon with a couple $100, and I'm grinding my eBay. So, but we signed up for the list. I remember like I'd sent in like some stuff from the Disney store. I bought some stuff on like Disney.com, some plushes and stuff like that. A couple of them did okay, and then a couple of them I lost money on. I think I quit the list after a few months, but like it kind of like let me get in the swing of things. But this was like the summer of 2014-ish, maybe. Get into like the first like Black Friday of like 2014. I ended up getting like
Mhm.
my biggest payout from Amazon was like $1,000, and I took that $1,000 cash and I spent it all in one day. I'd never spent that much on inventory in my life. Spent it all in, and it all flipped. Everything was going.
It's a good feeling. That's a good feeling.
And I still had trouble with Amazon then. Like I just wasn't that good. It was hard. And like I would go like this is zero exaggeration. I would go to a Walmart, no joke, and I would spend 7, 8, 9 hours in there scanning every single item on the toy aisle. Every item, not skipping one, not skipping a couple. I'm not like I scanned 8 items. I'm like, oh man, I just scanned 1,000. No, I would scan thousands and thousands and thousands of items, because it's like I didn't have a job. I had no money coming in besides a little bit of eBay and Amazon. So I had all the time in the world, but not a lot of
Yep.
money. So I just did what I had no clue how to learn this business. Like I didn't know about. I don't even know if Keepa was around back then. So I just scanned and scanned and scanned, and I would write notes in my book, like, okay, this item here, right? I would write the UPCs down on stuff. Like it was just so like Stone Age. It just like I was scanning. I got through my first Christmas because I didn't know how to do Amazon, and I would scan for 8 hours in the store, and I'd get maybe 2 items profitable. And
Mhm.
I'm complaining in the green room and in Facebook groups, like, how are you guys doing this? How are you making money? Black Friday, Christmas came, and that became easy. And then like we fold into the following year, and there was a lot of clearance. I remember right after Christmas, there was a ton of clearance at this Target by my house. I walked in, there was like 300 video games on clearance, and I was so new to Amazon. I scanned this PS3 game, Uncharted, I don't know, 2 or 3 or something like that for PS3.
Yep.
They had like 100 copies of this game for like $4. You scan it, it's like 25 or 30 on Amazon. But I was so scared of. So I bought like 5 or 10 copies, but there was like 100 there. And nobody was doing Amazon then. So I bought my 5 or 10 copies. I sent them into Amazon. They all sold. I went back to, they sold like that. So I went back to Target like 2 or 3 weeks later. They were all still there, same price, everything. No one touched them. Maybe like a couple got sold, but I bought the rest of them. They all sold. But like that was back then. You could like buy a couple, and you could come back in a week, and there'd still be all those clearance items were still there. Now
Because it wasn't known.
You turn your head to grab your cart. Now someone's already got them.